nobody here. Which makes sense. I don't tell anybody I'm coming. But if someone shows up, I can just have a combo and maybe make a video. I appreciate it, brother. Nice to see you, Tuka. I'm working a night shift, and I haven't been on YouTube in, I don't know, years, obviously. But I need to get back, and there's no good pathway besides just starting again, right? Just like when you slip up on diet or you slip up on exercise or sleep, just get right back on the horse. And been finishing up 90-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks, but just passed boards. And so now I really don't have to be here anymore. Well, I shouldn't say it too loud for them. But I don't have to be at this residency too much more. It's I can get my license, I can start practicing. Set up a clinic, set up a fasting retreat. So that was the main goal of getting through Western medicine, which wasn't much use in terms of helping my career talking health. But I intend to make good use of all the time that was there. Hopefully you're doing well, Duka. I'm kind of gonna leave this open and see if anyone wants to ask a question or start a topic for the chat. But otherwise, I am here having my dinner. I just finished my 5 papaya with strawberry solo papaya. Got one more mangosteen left. Just had a few. And then dragon fruit, longan. It's a good time of season right here in Hilo. And then I'll move on to dinner salad. And another update for anyone who might watch this later. I happen to have a broken arm, a broken hand, and get the cast off tomorrow. It's been an interesting experience, not running as much because you can't sweat in Hawaii. And in Hawaii here, it doesn't really get less than humid, so you're always liable to keep some moisture in there, so I can't really go sweating too much. So I've been essentially inactive for 3.5 months. This thing has been on for 4 months now. Yeah, it's good lessons. I am itching to get back to activity tomorrow. Anybody have interesting questions, health concerns, topics they're interested in societally? Some other updates otherwise. Started up a dish to diabetes class, that's what I'm calling it. Dish to diabetes. And it's just a once a week dinner with a doc class. I appreciate it, Deanna. So quick updates on me and the work I'm doing. We set up a dish to diabetes class. So it's every Thursday, come to class, I'll show up, prepare food, we eat it together, we talk about the topic regarding diabetes. Everybody showed up for class so far. Everyone's getting better. Everyone's losing weight. Everyone's heading in the right direction. Go figure. It's a predictable outcome when you set them up with support. And so it's been great to see that instant success. I didn't mean to get it going that fast. Some shout out to Momi, thank you for kicking me in the butt and just starting me up on it. And long story short, now I'm heading to Maui and Kauai and Molokai, 3 other islands to start getting this going and essentially formulate this into a statewide Medicare covered program. Not that I'm thrilled about Medicare covering it, but hey, if it's gonna be free for my ohana, that's the point. And that's a cool update. So it's fun to see that happening. As far as the keiki, all my kids still eat vegan, eat a bunch of fruit, and I'm still waiting for the downfall. My oldest is out there surfing for 4 hours a day today, and the 2 youngers below him, the Tulani and Taj, well, I guess you know their names. Tulani she gave up gymnastics, which broke my heart a little bit, But she gave it up for soccer instead. She's a crazy good soccer player. And so, go figure, a vegan, raw vegan diet clearly supports the development of people and children with good health and allows them to do active sports. My other sons are also they're phenoms in soccer too. And I don't take credit for that. They put their own effort towards that. No one's got one interesting topic? Throw me something. Throw me some controversy. Throw me a medical question or a personal health question. I'm offering myself up here, free consulting. As long as I'm eating, I'm happy to free consult. Admittedly, I don't do this very often because, was this mukbang or something? Eating while you're talking to people? It always feels a little odd to me. But well, no questions, no topics. I have to make one up. Okay. I mean, as you can see though, I don't need to talk and flap my lips. I could shut up for a couple years. But I do enjoy making a contribution and helping out. And I believe I have some service to offer, so that's why I'm circling back around. But I'm generally not inclined to, I guess, just talk, and I gotta figure out how to get past that again. You get yourself used to talking on YouTube or talking to people, but it's a little bit foreign to talk out loud like that for myself. And I wasn't the most, I didn't exactly like being in front of the camera, but I got used to it over time. And now I'm having to get back myself used to it again. But I got family here, so I appreciate that you all already know me and have some understanding of where I'm coming from. More gray hairs, yeah? It's the only thing I can, keeps happening. The body's getting older. I guess in case I didn't mention an update, I did end up running a marathon and did just fine in it. Didn't end up eating any food or water. It was during Ramadan time and I wanted to see how that worked. So still able to run like a 3:15 marathon. I forgot, like 7th place or something. It was decent. Again, another testament to the diet. I wasn't training, didn't have really time to train with residency, but can still do it. That was about 5 months ago. Yep. All right, I'm gonna pick a topic. I appreciate it, Laura. Thank you. We're gonna have a good time with the rollout coming back in. Well, at least for me, coming back into life. I feel like I've been putting myself on the back burner, but it's not. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be, but in my head, it felt like it, because during COVID times, if you saw the videos I made, I was starting to get shut down. Medical school was a time where you can't really say much, because if you don't know the ins and outs of medical school, the ins and outs are short. You're a student, take everything we're teaching you as gospel. And there's really not a whole lot of expectation to question that, or even time to question that, within the realities of medical obligations and time constraints. And then you get slapped on the debt. I don't mind disclosing this. I got $500,000 in debt. I had none prior to medical school. But I don't have anybody in medicine. I don't have any big donor. And so I took the debt. And admittedly, I still feel Dr. Graham is my mentor, Doug Graham, author of the 80-10-10 diet. Still hold him as primo in terms of example, in terms of understanding and explanation of health concepts. And he warned against the medical school. Yeah. Hey, I finished it at least. And so now we can start opening medically supervised water fasts. All right, so people want videos. Oh, my bad, Duca. I didn't realize that. Okay, so I've been talking to myself. I have heard of Brian Clement. That's the, he took over Ann Wigmore's essentially, but has got that, his own health retreat center. Laura, thank you. Duca, thank you. I appreciate you all giving me a topic to talk about. I'm sitting here eating my dragon fruit, talking to myself apparently. Just give me a shock or a thumbs up if you can hear me, but we'll talk. If you have a question about Brian Clement, drop it, Duca. I'm happy to answer that. Laura, let's talk about diabetes and swollen gallbladder. Anyone who's just joining as well, I'm on night shift, so I can get called down to the ED if I need to. You can hear that wind turbine. Okay. I'll switch rooms. I'm in the call room, and it's not a fun place to be. Gotta grab all my phones in case I get called by the ED, or if I get called for a C-section, or if I get called for a medical patient. I do appreciate having some of the knowledge on this, but Jason, it's Jimson. I appreciate it to be more enjoyable if we can hear each other. Too good. Gotta hope no one else is in the call sleep room. And it's one of those days where the hospital is quiet. Oh no, don't say quiet. Not in the hospital. The nurses will have your throat. It's a funny world. They're very superstitious in the medical world, but they're not, but they are. All right. Laura, let's talk about diabetes. Duca, you got a question about Brian Clement? Drop it. I'd love to answer it. And I assume he's had the best of intentions, so I'll talk more about tactics than the person. But let's talk about diabetes, because I was mentioning, maybe I was talking to myself, but the Dish to Diabetes class here in town, it's every Thursday. Show up to class. I'm there. We're going to eat food. I'm going to prepare food for you. You're going to essentially find new favorites, and we're going to talk a story about how to reverse diabetes, what diabetes is. Laura, if you're there, what is diabetes? That is the first question I ask everybody in the class. And it's the first question I ask everyone, patients who come into my office or into the clinic and has a diabetic. I go, what is diabetes? Usually it's silence like this, or it's an answer that's kind of meandering, not very direct. It's excessive amount of sugar in the bloodstream, right? Can't get sugar out of the bloodstream. It's a problem getting sugar out of the bloodstream efficiently. So if that's type, and you now have diabetes, therefore Laura's talking about type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, your insulin production's gone. Your pancreas is shot. Can't do it. It's okay, Laura. I wasn't really putting you on the spot. I appreciate you answering. But, and actually, it'll be good to keep this back and forth. Okay, we'll talk about that, Duca. Let's knock out this diabetes thing. And oddly enough, diabetes can be dealt with in a minute, 2 minutes. I give myself 2 minutes. So it's an excessive amount of sugar in the bloodstream. I'm gonna find a blank piece of paper and draw it out. That's as simple as this. I do it every time. Yes, I did fracture my hand scaphoid bone playing soccer. Well, I hit the pitch, I hit the ground, and unfortunately, bad break. But it'll get better. It comes off tomorrow, and I've been wearing it for 3.5 months, or 4 months. So I can't wait to get this thing off and run hard again. Diabetes, excessive sugar in the bloodstream. Laura and everybody else on the call, do we want to have no blood sugar? Is that ever the goal? 0 blood sugar? No. We're dead, right? So you gotta have some blood sugar, but you don't want to have too much blood sugar. So not too high, not too low, not too high, not too low. You want good blood sugar, okay? So what? That seems like a funnier way to break your hand than me. Here, a blood vessel. We got blood. We got the sugar molecules in here, okay? And the game is getting the sugar molecules out into a cell. I think I can do this. Good old school drawing styles. So we gotta get sugar to the cell. There comes someone in to spoil this conversation. Sorry. Hey, Jordan. Okay, he's not gonna spoil it. He's okay.
Oh,
Sorry, I gotta finish this conversation about diabetes.
no worries.
Fellow resident, Jordan. Aloha. So we're getting sugar from the bloodstream into the cell. This would normally be assisted by the pancreas producing insulin. I like to think of insulin like a key. Okay? So insulin's job is to go to the cell when sugar needs to come in, show up over here, and open up a doorway for sugar to make its way in. Okay? And Laura, that's how your body was functioning throughout your whole life. Every type 2 diabetic, their body was functioning like this just perfectly. And then at some point, something got in the way. I'll start drawing it. It's in the vessels, so it's in the tubing of the blood vessels. It is, here's the liver. It's a very poorly drawn liver, but it's all inside the liver. This is a muscle cell that we drew over here, and it's all inside this muscle cell too. And it starts to obstruct the chemical pathways for insulin to do its job. So now, when you take in some sugar and a little bit of bump in sugar, so we get increases of sugar molecules in the bloodstream, and we want to move some out. Now you kick out insulin, and it hits the cell, and the key can't open the door. It opens over here. Nope, still none, blocked. Still some, blocked. Still some over here, blocked. And finally it opens up. But now you're using 4 times more insulin. You're becoming insulin resistant. Anyone know what is blocking insulin here? What is the stuff I drew inside the muscle cell, inside the liver, inside the coating the linings of the blood vessel there? Anyone know what is that? Yeah. It's fat. If you didn't guess. So it's fat inside the muscle, inside the liver. Yeah, fatty liver. Fat inside the muscle cell is really what's obstructing this moving of sugar into the cell from insulin's inability to unlock the pathway. So then what would the solution be? So this is what I ask every single person in diabetes class, Laura. They know what diabetes is. Secondly, they know what the cause of diabetes, that's the excessive fat consumption. And then what's the solution? So the solution given by the mainstream American Medical Association and American Diabetic Association up until recently was to reduce the sugar in your diet. So reduce some of the sugar in the bloodstream. Now you can see this picture. Does that really help in the sugar's ability to get into the cell? If I reduce the amount of sugar I intake? Or do I still have this problem with insulin resistance? I'll answer for you. You still have insulin resistance. So now you have controlled diabetes. Why not just get rid of the diabetes? How do I get rid of the diabetes? I just get rid of the fat. And then suddenly sugar can get out. Again, easy. And that's why at Diabetes Reversal, at retreat centers, where we control the diet entirely, people have to stop taking their medicines within the first week because they'll go tanking in low blood sugar. because we just cut off the fat intake. And so there's no fat intake. This clears up quickly in the muscle cell. And sure enough, within days, type 2 diabetics can be essentially moving towards the path of non-diabetes. So Laura, my question and my investigation for you as an individual would be, how much fat are you taking in? And how can you reduce it? Most likely, sources of fat in today's world are your processed foods, your fried fatty foods, your animal foods, dairy foods, all those things. So that is diabetes in a nutshell. You can be more nuanced, you can get more technical, but that really is as simple as it is. And that's why people who follow that get off diabetic medications and have no more diabetes. And people who play the long game of managing diabetes can do it for a lifetime. And you can be unfortunate, and I hope you're never unfortunate, to have not heard this message, but now you have heard it. My grandmother never heard it. Our family never heard it. So I had to watch toes go, eyes go. You had to watch decline. And that's not good healthcare, is it? I've changed to more protein, low carbs. Laura, you're just giving me fodder after fodder. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate it. So, low protein, low carb. Thank you, Easy. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Too much avocado, nuts, seeds? You could. Yeah, you could cause diabetes on a vegan diet or plant-based diet. More protein, low carbs. If you're low carbs, that means you're high fat. Protein, so three sources of macronutrients, or sources of nutrients where you get calories from. So you got your protein, you got your carbs, and you got your fat. And most people can't really push the protein higher than 10, 15%. I can't draw upside down, apparently. Nope, I cannot draw upside. I have not tried this experiment very well. Okay, 10 to 15, 10 to 15%. From protein. And that's if you're eating protein powders, maybe you can push it higher, but that's very rare. And so any protein food is usually fat food. And so you're either going up in fat, you're either up in fat and then down in carbs, or you're up in carbs and you're down in fat, or you're trying to play a middle ground, which is just diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes, if you just have a mix of the two without even really being discriminate. And yeah, protein, you're not going to get enough calories. So no one's getting their calories from protein. It's either fat or carbohydrates. And so you have many different ways of saying it. Low carb, which is high fat, because low carb is high fat. You can see these. And then high carb is low fat, by definition. But really, it's in relation to each other, and it should be in relation to what the human body needs. And so I'm not looking for low fat, I'm looking for an appropriate amount of fat. I'm not looking for high fat or high carb. I'm looking for the appropriate amount of carbs and fat and protein. Protein, so it's either sugar or fast, bulk of calories, I guess. Unless you're very clean and need few calories. No powders. Protein, okay, good. It's going to be fats with the bulk of calories. So, and Laura, yes, honestly, no animal foods. And I put this to the class, which is a bunch of Hawaiians, yeah, a local Hawaiian group, and so very much meat-eating, fish-eating culture. And at this point, I challenged them and asked them to just hold off for 30 days. Well, I asked them for 2 weeks. Some of them did longer. Give yourself 30 days. I guarantee they'll still be selling pizza, they'll still be selling ham hocks, all sorts of things after that. But to taste it and experience what it feels like to get some of this stuff out will give you a different experience entirely of what you want to do dietary-wise. Zero overt fats is definitely not enough fat. You can go zero overt fats for a while, but yeah, eventually there's nothing wrong with an avocado or some Brazil nuts. So I would, if I'm being really blunt here, Laura, and giving you a quick, I only have a few minutes here, I could get called somewhere else to the ED. To get rid of diabetes, you bring the fat down below 10% of your total calories intake. You drop the fat entirely. And really, if you're not keeping track of things, I recommend using Chronometer. It's free, chronometer.com or Chronometer. cut it out entirely. Cut all the damn animal foods out, all the dairy foods out, all the oils out. So no oils, no animal foods, no dairy, and see how things work. Focus more on vegetables, fruits, legumes, beans. I said legumes and beans, yeah. And then if you need grains, if you go with sweet potatoes, I think people struggle because you're either going to go raw or you're going to go cooked vegan if you're trying to go away from animal foods. And but both are amenable to the same program, low fat. You must lower the fat. And if you're gonna have fruit, then just go fruit first. But if you're gonna go cooked, well, then you're going with some oats in the morning for like an oatmeal or some type like that, and some berries for breakfast, maybe some coconut milk or preferably even like some soy milk because it's less fat. And then lunch, you're looking at hopefully starting off with some fresh fruits or some vegetables, and maybe you're looking at a wrap or a quinoa bowl or a sweet potato Buddha bowl kind of thing. And then dinner, there's a whole host of options for dinner as well. But the main key point for dinner, especially if you've got weight to lose, is going to be salad. I want salad at every meal for dinner. And I have salad every night for my own self. The kids know that. It's just baseline. It's not even just, it's just baseline. It's a health requirement. You got to eat greens. And they taste good. So if they don't taste good, that means something's off, kind of like so many other things when we get used to unhealthy habits. I'm gonna let Jordan sleep. Head out of here. And let's talk about Brian Clement and diet. So if we're talking diet, I'm assuming Brian Clement. You're welcome, Laura. If you have any questions, feel free to keep going. I'm going to step aside. Brian Clement's diet. What do you understand it to be right now? Hey, Matt. I don't eat honey. Not entirely for the health reasons. I think there are some health reasons to avoid eating honey or refined sugars, but hey, Duca, I was asking what you wanted to know specifically about Brian Clement's diet, and then Matt asked about the honey. I personally don't eat honey. I don't have a whole lot of axe to grind against honey per se. On the nutritional side, I don't think I need it, and I don't think the bees appreciate it, though at the same time, I'm sure there's some sustainable ways of doing it. I've had friends who had hives and they seemed like they were just fine. And they gave me honey from it. I just never used it. It was I don't know. My wife would use it for tea and stuff. It's just not something I'm interested in, but I don't think it's a miracle, so I don't need it per se. Are you opposed to the no fruit approach? No fruit approach. Yes, very much opposed to the no fruit approach. And I don't understand the reason for the avoidance of fruit, considering it's one of the most obviously appropriate natural foods for our species. If we look at all the little creatures, little keiki, the kids, they can easily grab any berry. They want to grab any fruit that you put out in front of them. It's colorful. It's delicious. It's inherently sweet. And it's got so many nutrients that we need and like legitimately need as vitamins and also need in general. Why would we avoid eating fruit? I know it's Brian. You're right. It's Brian Clement's recommendation. I think it's because it doesn't fit his model, quite honestly. Is he still doing the raw food? No, because they might have it. But essentially, if you want to do raw food and not eat fruit, you're going to be doing a lot of preparations. You might be buying a lot of supplements. You might be doing, and if I remember correctly, I just don't understand the reason to avoid the apple a day or to avoid the mango. And yeah, man, yeah, like I said, it's take it or leave it with the honey. Fruit is unnaturally too sweet because of hybridization. Okay, let's quickly just go, and I mean, I'm a hybrid. People love to point it out to me. Here, they go, you don't look like anybody. Like, where are you from? Where are you from, bro? Like, you know, I can't tell where you're from, but uh, we're all hybrids, yeah? We took our parents' genes and we mixed them, and we got this version of something. And so if we take that concept for fruit, every single fruit is also the same thing. We're taking a parentage and we're looking at enhancing it for qualities we like. Personally, I think, and this tracks with other fruit things, the sweeter the fruit is or the better the fruit tastes, the more nutrition is usually associated with that fruit. And so us taking nature and trying to move it towards our taste preferences seems only in line with how nature seems to work in general. So all fruits are hybrids. That's not a problem to me. And I think if you want to talk about seeds, okay, there you go. Because nature knows best. I'll give you that on some level. At the same time, wild blueberries are hard to get a lot of nutrients from compared to procured and better set up blueberries. Same thing for peaches, and so there's that element to it, which anything original is superior. Do we have any original fruits left then? And the too sweet thing is an interesting part, because if you have your fat under control, sugar comes in the bloodstream, it goes out. There's no problem. It doesn't hang out. So what's the problem with sugar going into the bloodstream, or sorry, into the cells? I don't see the problem unless the cells are overloaded, we're saying. But then they would kick back into the bloodstream, and then they would not have enough demand for it, and then I would end up with diabetes. So if I don't have diabetes, I don't understand why I'm having to avoid fruit. If my body can process sugar very well, and when I eat the sweetest fruits, I'm eating dates and I'm eating unlimited things, and I had the pleasure or experience of wearing one of those CGMs, those constant glucose monitors. Yeah, I didn't have any blood sugar. I didn't have any spikes. I mean, I had some spike, but it never out of an exorbitantly tolerable zone for what the standard practice thought. It never set off any alarms on my monitor, and then it always came back down perfectly. And yes, I look to upload regularly again. I was trying to explain this earlier. I've sometimes been working 80 to 90 hours a week. I just decided to do this again because I wanted to kick myself in the butt to start getting back on YouTube. And maybe you all can start, well, knowing you're out there helps me. And I would love to get back to making videos. I would love to get back to actually creating health content rather than suffering this medical paradigm which lacks all awareness, it seems, of the natural origin of the body and how things work. The body is self-intelligent, self-healing, yeah? You're looking at how you're seeing me right now.